This NBA Christmas Day NBA Player Props edition of the Propcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MACHINE to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football and basketball with Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
And taking a shot to ground downfield. He makes the catch, and he gets in for the touchdown. The catch is made by Calvin Ridley.
Wilson, what as he throws deep downfield. It's going to be caught by Metcalf for the touchdown.
Welcome, everyone, to the Propcast NBA Christmas Day edition. Here to get you guys through the Christmas day, of course, spending with your loved ones. Of course, we have NBA on, as we usually do on Christmas Day. We have NFL as well. If you haven't already checked out the NFL Propcast, for Christmas Day and for the Thursday night football game, that podcast should already be posted with myself and Chris. But we're going to get into the NBA player props here on this show. But joining me here to help me break down the player props for Christmas Day on the hardwood, guys don't mess a voice on the NBA gambling podcast, MLB, and of course joins me every Sunday morning during the NFL season for the pregame show for NFL. Got my guy here with me, of course, is Lonte Smith. Lonte, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. I hope you're doing good. Hope everybody enjoying their Christmas Eve. Yeah, man, ready to get into it. Best way to bet on sports, period, player props.
Yeah, man, it should be a fun one on Christmas Day for the NBA schedule. We got, of course, all the marquee matchups, I guess we should say, in the NBA. So let's try to keep this short and sweet so everybody can consume it before the first game tips off on Christmas Day here, Lonte. So we'll give you our player props, of course, and then we'll give you best bets. And then we'll wrap it up with an Underdog Fantasy entry for the NBA schedule for Christmas Day. All right, Lonte, I'll let you lead off, man. Where are you taking us for your first player prop?
Man, my first player prop, I'm going to go with this is probably my favorite one of the entire slate. So we're going to go Peyton Pritchard over 10.5 points. That's juiced. I mean, minus 125, minus 130. If you can, if you find an 11, like over 11, I think that's fine as well. But I mean, pretty plain and simple, man. I mean, I think for the volume that he's going to get and how he struggled the last two games. I think he had like 13 points combined his last two. This matchup sets up perfect for him. I mean, despite him struggling, he's over in 18 of 29 this year, 7 of his last 10. Philadelphia struggled against guards. They don't really have elite perimeter defense or even average perimeter defense. So I think Peyton Pritchard, I mean, he could bomb away like 8-9 threes and hit 3 or 4, and then we're halfway home. If not with 3, we get all the way there with 4. Not to mention, he's been real aggressive as far as being off the ball as well. When he and Derek White are in the game at the same time, and he plays a little bit more off ball. So those drag pick and rolls where he's kind of in the shooter spot, I think that's a sweet spot for him. So I'm like over 10.5 points for him. I'll ladder him up to 15 plus. That's 2-1. I took a little sprinkle on 20 plus as well. That's plus 625. So I love Peyton Pritchard tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, his numbers and his, I should say, his minutes have drastically increased this season. Obviously, you're having a more prominent role here for the Boston Celtics. And, he's been very consistent, whether it's been on the road or whether it's been at home. 15.1 points per game at home, 16.3 on the road thus far this season for Peyton Pritchard. And like you mentioned, he just needs to get just a couple of those 3-point shots to go in and, bombs away for a guy like Peyton Pritchard, where, mostly his attempts do come from beyond the arc. I mean, if you take a look, that he's averaging 12 shots per game from the floor. 9.4 of those are coming from beyond the arc. So 75%, are coming from beyond the arc. They're shooting it at 40%, is Peyton Pritchard there. So, I do like that one here for the Boston Celtics side of things. I'll go to the other side in this game. This might be either I look like the biggest idiot or this could be a sneaky buy low good spot for Joel Embiid. I like his points prop over in this game. Obviously, we saw on Tuesday night. He gets ejected, doesn't play a whole heck of a lot of minutes as he really hasn't thus far this season. But I think this one is more, pretty matchup based for me. I think that the Boston Celtics really don't have that big that can stay in front of Joel Embiid. I think there's a good opportunity for him to just come out and I guess redeem himself, for lack of better words. Historically, he's been really good against the Boston Celtics, just the last couple games here. 28, 41, 52, 27, and then 20. He hasn't faced them since the 2023 year, which was back on November 15th. But I think just pretty looking at a matchup base standpoint for Joel Embiid, I think this could be a good spot for him. Again, I know that it's either hit or miss with Joel Embiid, that if he has a really good game, it's a great game. 3 out of his last 5 games, Lonte, he's had 31 or more points. He had 34 against the Charlotte Hornets, 31 against the Bulls, 35 against the Memphis Grizzlies. So I think it's a good spot for Joel Embiid here. Come out, set the tone, keep your team in the game. And I think the more I think about this game is that we know that Boston likes to play with their food. They're not going to blow out opponent. We saw that case in point against Orlando Magic, right, where they're missing their top 3 guys, and Orlando gets the outright victory. So I think this could be a competitive game here. I think Joel Embiid. So I'll roll the dice here a little bit. Joel Embiid in a buy low spot over 26.5 points here.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I played his PR, points to rebounds. For everything that you said about his points, I think it's a good matchup. Just from the rebounding side, I mean, if you want to just play his rebounds, it's 8.5. I like that over. He's averaging nearly 12 per game in his career versus Boston. I mean, he's going to get ample opportunities because Boston's going to shoot a ton of threes. So, you got the short rebounds, you got the long rebounds if he's kind of playing the pick and roll. So I think he can walk into 10 rebounds here. He's over in 4 straight versus Boston. So yeah, I combine both of those for literally everything you just said. And then the rebounds, I think it's a perfect matchup for him to get right. I mean, he should be well rested. I mean, he got ejected in the second quarter, like you said, so he should be fine to go 30 plus minutes here. And like you said about the rim protection, I think he should be able to capitalize down low. I actually think Philly's going to slow the game down and kind of play through him. And I expect him to get, 25, 28 shots up as well. So second chance points are there as well. So yeah, I'm 100% agreeing with you.
Joel Embiid on Christmas Day hasn't played on Christmas Day since the 2022 year, but averaging he had 25 and 16 against the Knicks, 34 and 16 against his Boston Celtics. So would love to see that again. 31 and 11 against the Bucks, and then he had 35 and 8 against the New York Knicks 2 years ago on Christmas Day here. So hopefully it is a good coming out party here. Another repeat performance for Joel Embiid on Christmas Day. All right, Lonte, take us to your next player prop, man. What do you got?
Yeah, let's go to the midday action. Not too far. Well, I guess it is kind of far from where you're from. So we're going to Dallas. I like Klay Thompson over, what is this, 14 points? That should be like minus 110-ish. It should be reduced. If you could find a reduced like 14.5, I think I like that too. He was horrible in the first meeting against Minnesota, 7 points on 2 of 7. But if you look at what he's been doing as of late, I mean, he's averaging around 17 this month. He's over in 5 straight. He pushed last night. I think he had exactly 14. I'm not sure what his player prop was. I don't know if it was 13.5 or not, but let's just say for the sake of this number, he pushed that. He's getting a ton of volume, 6+ 3-point attempts in his last 6 games. I think the pick and roll will be in full effect for Minnesota. They're going to put Gobert in those pick and rolls. I think Klay Thompson will be ready to aim and fire. So I like him over his points. I'll be looking to ladder his threes as well. I think he can walk into 4 and 5 threes. He's been shooting the ball really well lately as well. Mm-hmm. When I was looking at some of his game logs, especially at home in this spot, I think Klay Thompson is a smash spot to go 17, in between that 17 to 20 range, depending on how the game flow is going.
Yeah, and I think so. I like Kyrie in this game here as well. His just to reference Klay's 3-point prop right now, I'm seeing a 2.5 at minus 135 coming over on DraftKings. But I do like Kyrie in this game, and it's a lot of it is just how well he's played against this Minnesota Timberwolves team. And I think a lot of it is because that the defense seems to be focused on trying to slow down Luka. That has opened up the opportunities for Kyrie Irving. Since Kyrie Irving has joined the Dallas Mavericks or gotten traded to the Dallas Mavericks, he's just put on a show against Minnesota here. So I'm just trying to pull up the numbers. I had them written down. But so 3 games against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And keep in mind, this is with Luka on the floor. 36, 35, and 35 in those 3 games for Kyrie Irving, averaging 35.3 points per game. He's shooting it at a 57.5% clip from the floor, and he's shooting 64% from beyond the arc there, Lonte. 4 of 9, 6 of 8, 6 of 8 from beyond the arc against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Again, small sample, so I dug a little bit more. And this goes back to when he was with the Brooklyn Nets as well, right? Playing with 2 other I guess we'll say 1 superstar player and 1 all-star player / superstar when he was at his prime in James Harden. But even with the Brooklyn Nets, he had a 50-point game, a 27-point game, and a 30-point game. If we want to go back to when he was with Boston, 23 and 21. So that's been 8 straight games against the Minnesota Timberwolves head-to-head where he scored 21 or more points. He scored 30 or more in 4 straight games against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I like this matchup here for Kyrie Irving. May take on the assist there as well, that maybe some of those assists do go to Clay, being that spot of, like you talked about, shooter in this game. So, yeah, I like Kyrie in this game over 20.5. I don't trust Minnesota's, honestly, their defense or their offense just because they've been that bad this season. So, it just feels like maybe we just take PRA under for Luka, and hopefully Kyrie and both Clay do go off in this game here. So that's my second player prop here. Lonte, if you have any thoughts on Kyrie?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of what Kyrie's been doing in this offense. I mean, I think the way Jason Kidd, I always wondered why early on that like they weren't running more, because that was Jason Kidd's style when he was playing. And I know Luka, kind of wants to play in the half court and probably is better fitted for his skill set. But I thought running was kind of the way to be to get, keep the defense off balance. And he's been running a lot more since they got Kyrie. So I think that tempo will be there for him. Kyrie in the open court, such a good thing to watch. I think he'll flourish here. Another one I wanted to point out to you is Klay Thompson. I was looking at his steals as well. If you look at his game log, man, he's got 10 total steals in his last 4 games, 2+ in his last 4. Right now, he's at like over a half a steal, -160. If you can find like 2+, you should get a nice plus price on that. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit on that. I mean, off ball, his defense, his on ball defense has been a lot better, but they've been doing a good job of kind of playing that. Not a match. It's kind of like a matchup zone. Some of the looks that they've been doing, and I think that's been advantageous for him to kind of just roam around and get those steals. So I'm going to play some Klay Thompson steals. I think that's a trend to kind of watch out for, because like I said, 10 in his last 4, that's something that you want to kind of look on. And he's had double figures. I mean, he's had two or more in all 4 of those. So that's something that I'm looking forward to.
All right. Before we get over to some more player props for the NBA Christmas Day schedule, let me just tell everyone about our good old friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menus in all sports, whether it is college football, college basketball, NBA, MMA, NASCAR, and much more. You can also win up to 1,000x with Underdog Streaks, and Underdog is always making it easier to win with Profit Boost and Gimme Pick'ems. You can now use specials and boosts on all flex entries. Definitely going to have Kyrie in my Underdog Fantasy entry for Christmas Day. But stay tuned at the end of the episode. Lonte and I will put together our Underdog Fantasy entry for the Christmas Day games. So sign up with promo code MACHINE to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Make sure you use our promo code MACHINE. All right, Lonte, let's keep it rolling here, man. So that's 2 player props each there. My second one, or my third one, I should say, I'm going to go over to a late night game, the Suns in the Denver Nuggets.
Wild injury report. You've been seeing that number in the injury reports?
Yeah, I don't think Devin Booker will end up playing in this game. Again, he didn't practice. He's dealing with that growing injury. Denver right now is a 2-point favorite in this game here. But one player that has had a lot of success against the Phoenix Suns has been Michael Porter Jr. And, with this defense for the Phoenix Suns right now, Lonte, they've fallen off a cliff here a little bit. But the last 4 games for Michael Porter Jr. against this Phoenix Suns team, and the prop's going to be points and rebounds to go over 21.5. He's done this in 4 straight games, including on Tuesday night. Michael Porter Jr. in that game had 24.6 rebounds. But prior to that, 19 and 10, 20 and 7, 18 and 6, and 24 and 6. So if you want to play the points prop alone in this game, I think that could be an angle here as well. Phoenix is also struggling with shooting guards. They're giving up a lot of 3-point shots and makes to that point. To that shooting guard position. So I think it's an opportunity for Michael Porter Jr. to just kind of continue flourishing here for this Denver Nuggets offense. He's a guy that typically gets going early, and if he's able to get hot early, that usually carries for him throughout the game. So yeah, I'm going to go with Michael Porter Jr. The points probably is at 15.5, but I'm going to tack on the rebounds there as well to take it to 21.5 points and rebounds over 21.5 for Michael Porter Jr. against the Suns.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I stayed away from anything dealing with this game just because of the uncertainty.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do, and we still, Jamal's is still a game time decision, right?
I hope he doesn't play just for
the
sake of my pure play.
Yeah. So I stayed away from it, but I don't. Of course, I'll be rooting for you. I don't hate that look, especially with if Booker's out, that means KD is going to be more occupied with kind of helping on Joker and not kind of defending the wing. I think we saw Michael Porter. What he had 24 last night.
Yeah, 24 and 6 last night. Yeah.
So I think that's indicative of what we can see, going forward in this matchup if indeed Booker is off the floor. So I can agree with you there.
All right, what else you got, man?
Yeah, so got some positivity. I got a little negativity here. Let's go. Jaden McDaniels under 10.5 points. I think it's pretty well to me. When I notice when he plays like these elite guards, like if you look at his box score, whenever he's playing like Steph or Trey or Brunson or even to a certain extent Kyrie and Luka, but he had 13 against Kyrie and Luka in the previous game, in the previous matchup, but that was way in October. Excuse me. So I think he'll be heavily occupied with both of those guys, trading off between him and Ant to between Luka and Kyrie. Foul trouble could be an issue here as well. He had back-to-back games with 4 fouls. He actually ended up with 3 fouls, but he picked up 2 early in that Dallas game, and he had to sit. So that's always a concern. He's under in 9 of his last 13. Don't really think the volume will be there. And like I said, if you look at his shot chart, whenever he plays those elite guards, his shot numbers are drastically lower. Like shot attempts are drastically lower. So let's go under 10.5 points with Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I think a lot. I mean, we know that he's not a guy that's really an option for them on the offensive side, right? He's more there for defense. And you talk about this Minnesota Timberwolves team. It's Anthony Edwards. It's Julius Randle. It's Mike Conley. Naz Reid coming off of the bench. So, I mean, you see what I'm trying to say here as far as, options for him. So,
yeah, I got you. That's how I felt too. That's how I hit.
Yeah. And again, what you said the number was 10.5?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so last 3 games it has struggled. He had only a 6 against the Hawks. He had 10 against the Warriors, 8 against the Knicks. Did have 18 and 12 against the Spurs and the Lakers there, but I mean,
it's nobody to guard though. Like look at his field goal attempts. Like when he guarded like Trey, I think he had 6. I think he had 8 when he guarded Brunson. Steph, like it's like under 10. I think right at 10, maybe 11. But a lot of those are when they're leaving him open in the corner or kind of like fast break stuff. So I think he's going to be so occupied with getting these guys like defensively that he's not going to be worried about offense.
All right. You have any more player props?
Do I have? I think I got one more. Yeah, go ahead. In the early game, I like Mikal Bridges over 2.5 3-pointers made. I'll be laddering him up to 4 or 5. He's over in 5 of his last 7. He's averaging 3 in his last 9 home games. The volume is there, and I think what really got me on it is the Spurs really struggle defending the 3 on the road. They're better defending it at home, but on the road they are pretty bad defending the 3. So I think Mikal Bridges can take advantage of that. I mean, they don't have I don't know how they're going to defend Wemby. That's like kind of the thing that I'm interested to see. I don't know if they're going to like throw OG and a combination of OG and Mikal on them, or if they're going to throw Cat on them. They probably don't want Cat to guard him because of foul trouble. So I just kind of want to see that, but obviously they'll be able to switch off. There's not another elite or even pretty good wing player. So between Mikal and OG, they'll have their opportunities offensively to kind of flourish. And I think Mikal could be beneficiary of those 3-point shots in the corner. So I like him over 2.5 3-pointers made.
Yeah, I couldn't talk you off of that one. It's sometimes just really hard to gauge who's going to step up.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
For the Knicks, right? Like it could be a OG night, it could be a Josh Hart night. Hopefully for our sake, it's a Mikal Bridges game as well. But I feel like this might be a game where maybe the Spurs looks like they're deer in the headlights, caught up in this game, playing on the first game on Christmas Day. I don't remember
I'll take 9.5.
I'll be just curious to see that when's the last time the Spurs actually played on Christmas Day. Obviously, I know the league wants, Wemby out there, the future of the NBA.
That's a good question. I don't know remember when the last, even when they were good, I don't think they were playing on.
Yeah,
well, they would play Dallas sometimes, like when Duncan would play Dirk.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it here, but yeah. I don't have any other ones. The other one I did consider, and I'll probably wait to see the status of Jamal Murray if he does play in this game. If he doesn't, I'll probably look at Julian Strawher to go over his points prop. It's at 7.5. Obviously, you have to. Damn, has it been since 2016 they haven't played on Christmas Day?
That's crazy. 8 years. Yeah.
Golly, I use StatMuse for it, but let me see.
I mean, the league was probably like, well, Pop, he might, sit these guys on Christmas Day just for the hell of it.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Just put an FU to the league.
Yeah, he would. Do
yeah, I don't. I mean, oh, here we go. Let's see here. Champs or Chumps has it. So, yeah, last time was 2016 against the Chicago Bulls. They won the game 119-100. Yeah. All right, we'll leave it at that. All right, so let's get into best bets here, Lonte, and then we can put together our Underdog Fantasy entry here. I'll let you lead off, man. What are you taking us for your best bet?
Yeah, my best bet was the first one, was just Peyton Pritchard to 10.5. I just think that it's a smash spot for him, especially after struggling, not shooting the ball well in his last 2 games. I think he was like 2 for like 15 or 14 or something like that in his last 2 games. I think it's a good spot with Philadelphia not having the perimeter defense. Their second unit is not they're not good at all, but their second unit is a downtick, especially without Jared McCain on the floor. So you're seeing a lot of like big lineups, and I think Peyton Pritchard can take advantage of that. So Peyton Pritchard is probably my best bet on the card over that 10.5 points. I know it's juice, but I think it's worth the squeeze.
I was gonna mention one more was LeBron's rebounds and assists to go over 15.5.
You think his points is low? I think his points are low. 22.5.
Yeah. So I just brought up his Christmas Day game log. So last 5 games, 16 points, 38, 39, 22, 23, 17, 20, 31. They've played Golden State a lot.
Because you remember back that was their matchup.
Yeah, LeBron and when he was with the Cavs.
Yeah, Steph. Yep.
Yeah, Steph. So they played Boston last year. I remember that. They had Dallas prior to that, Brooklyn prior to that, when they had Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and Harden out there. All right. For my best bet, I think it's Kyrie, man. I really like the numbers that are backing this up. But like I mentioned when we were breaking it down, I think this is just a good opportunity for Kyrie to really step up here on Christmas Day. We talked a lot about his history against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Feels like that Luka, the focus on the defensive side will be on Luka to try to slow him down. I hope this just doesn't turn into a blowout, because I think it was Anthony Edwards yesterday against the Hawks there, where it turned into a blowout, and that's where props go to die. But I think asking Kyrie to get 21 points here, I don't think it's a big order for him. I think that he can, get to this number. Hopefully he's like 15 by halftime and not have to sweat it too much. But also it's a little bit telling that Luka, 16 games in his career against the Wolves, he's only averaging 24.8 points per game, 7.7 rebounds, 7.4 assists. So not really Luka
We're saying
numbers.
only to 25, 7, and 7.
Yeah.
No,
And
I'm just that's just crazy.
Right. Just because he's a guy that fills up the stat sheet,
Yeah,
and you know what? As many triple doubles that Luka has put up in his career, he's played 16 career games against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Never has gotten a triple double against them in those 16 games. Wow. He got one game where he got one rebound short, but
I might bet that for the hell of it. Now that you say that,
to him to get a triple double.
Yeah, I mean, he could go 15, 12.
I mean, he can still get 20, 10, and 10, and hopefully it's a higher scoring game here. Bet we get both Clay and Kyrie there, but I would let me see what the odds are on it right now since we're talking.
Hopefully
about
it's not too juiced.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to listen beyond this point, we just gave our best bets. We're just kind of shooting the shit here. Kyrie's going to be my best bet here, over 20.5 points. But let me see where I hate that they've changed their menu up.
I don't like that either.
It was so simpler before. All right, triple double, Luka. He's also dealing with a heel injury, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the number's telling 7-1, right?
I might play that. I might sprinkle something on that.
I think he's only at 3 total this season, if I'm not mistaken. Has Luka. So, all right. Lonte, let's just put together our Underdog Fantasy entry here, and then we'll wrap it up here for this episode.
I think it's pretty simple for us. I mean, we both like. I like your Kyrie play.
Yeah.
We like Embiid. I don't know if you want to go PR or if you want to just go points or whatever you want to do.
So let me pull up Wemby. I don't think it'll be the rebounds for him. Let's see. So his points, man, come on. His points are at 24.5.
We talking Embiid?
Oh, you said Embiid. I thought you said Wemby. My bad.
No, Embiid. Yeah, I like Embiid with you.
Okay,
yeah,
Embiid.
I'm with you with Embiid. Yeah, I'm with you.
So his points are still 26.5. Points and rebounds are 34.5, but the higher is only at 0.94x. So you want to go double? It's spicy at 1.2x.
Yeah, that's fine. 20 and 10, we can get there.
Yeah. All right, and then we'll go Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah, I love Peyton Pritchard. Yeah.
And we'll throw him in there. The number's at 11.5 there.
That's
do you want to take that, or you want to take his threes 2.5?
I'll take his points. I mean, I think they're correlated. Whatever, you just close your eyes and pick one. It don't a dealer's choice.
No. Because I feel like if he gets to 12 points, he hit at least 3 threes.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's go threes.
All right, let's go threes. All right, so that gets us to a nice 7.1x here for this Christmas Day Underdog Fantasy entry. So we're recapping. We got Kyrie Irving, higher 20.5 points. We've got Joel Embiid, higher 1.2x on the double-double. And then we'll go Peyton Pritchard, higher 2.5 3-pointers made. Every $10 that you do put in, you'll get a return of $71 courtesy of Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you guys use that promo code machine over at Underdog Fantasy as well. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I did see that if you already have an account, they do have a reload bonus of 25%. So I think it's a max of $250. So being a little bit generous, our Underdog Fantasy on Christmas Day. All right. Nice, short and sweet here, Lonte, for this episode. Anything else you want to mention before we get out of here?
That's it, man. I think we pretty much covered it all.
Yeah, definitely appreciate everybody in the chat that joined us. Hopefully, we do put some money in your pockets here on Christmas Day. We'll be back on the NBA podcast, regularly scheduled on Thursday. And then look out for the Propcast with myself and Chris on Friday for the NFL Sunday games. And, of course, the pregame show with myself and Lonte on Sunday morning for Week 17 to get you guys ready. All right, we'll talk to you guys later this week. Enjoy your Christmas with your loved ones. Enjoy the holidays. Make sure you guys follow Lonte over on the Twitter machine at XXLonteXX. You can follow me there as well at SportsNerd824. Till then, good luck with your bets. Let's break these books off, and always remember to let it ride.